Tenemos nuevas plazas pa' que sepan. Allá por eso.
Alright guys, so yeah, like I was saying that, I mean, I had just finished my breakfast. I have an appointment I need to go to. So I'm just gonna get really, I'm gonna get ready with you guys real fast. But I did want to talk to you guys like a little story time of a stalker I used to have for like 2 weeks. I had this like stalker. So one of my cousins used to hang out with us a lot. Like she would go over the house a lot. When we were like all younger, like I was in elementary and she might have been like in middle school. Like nighttime where there was like this like green, a lot of people would hang out and just like sit down and chill. It was already like late. I don't know why my sister wasn't there, so it was just me and my cousin with one of my neighbors. And well, I remember she whistled. There was this car that passed by and he pulls up with us and then he's like shaking everyone's hand, including myself, and like I'm over here introducing myself, like, oh hi, my name's Vienna, you know. Because I was being friendly, thinking that my neighbor knew who he was. Like, oh, like, what do you think is pretty? And he goes, well, the short one, in Spanish. And he pointed at me. My cousin, when he said that, my cousin pulled me back, you know, because she was like, he's a creep, you know. And he did look way older. Does she know him? And she's like, no, she doesn't even know him. She just like, you know, wanted to have him pull up on us, I guess. So I'm over here like introducing myself and everything, you know, and yeah, he's all like, oh, like la chaparita, whatever. So my cousin did pull me back, you know. She's like, no, like don't get close to him. So ever since that night, he ended up leaving, and me and my cousin ended up going back to the house with my mom. And I'm so serious when I say that every day he was either parked right in front of my house, just like keeping an eye on me. Like keeping an eye on me. I kid you not, even in school, I would see his car where I would go to school in elementary. So I'm like, what the fuck, you know? Like that's already too much. Like a week passed and he was still right there. Like even on the weekends, he would pass by my house. And if it wasn't passing by, he would be parked like right in, across the street from my house. And I remember I looked outside the window and I told my sister, I'm like, that guy's been stalking me. Because I wasn't saying anything until I noticed it was happening a lot. I would see him in school. I would see him in front of my house. I would see him on the weekends. And I would walk. His car would be right behind me, like following me. Like a freaking creep, you know? She's like, what the hell? She was, why didn't you say anything? I'm like, well, because I was like, I don't know. I was just waiting to see if he would like stop. I'm like, but no, I'm like, even when I come home from school, he's behind me. I'm like, when I'm, you know, like when I'm at home, I see him parked right there. I'm like, and when I'm walking home from school, he's following me, like, and then he'll just like drive off. Like just being weird. So anyways, it was like that for like 2 weeks. And then my sister finally was like, I told my sister, I was like, go with me one day. Go with me running one day, like to the school, which was probably not a smart idea, but I was like, look at what, I was like, watch, if I were at school on a weekend, I'm like running, because me and my sister used to go running because my sister was in cross country. And I used to go with her a lot to like her practices. So me and her and my brother, we would like go run once in a while, you know. So me and my sister, I told my sister, I was like, let's go for a run by the school. I'm like, and I bet you he's going to be right behind us. And we went, and I heard a car behind us. And it was him. And he stopped the car. He stopped like in the middle of the street. And he's like, he said in Spanish, ¿Quieren comprar blusas? And I looked at my sister and I was like, well, hell no. Because he's never like actually spoke to me with it, like those times that he's stalked me. And then that day when I was with my sister, he decided to like ask, like, do you guys want some shirts? And I looked at my sister and I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. And my sister was like, no, fuck that. She's like, no. She goes to him and she's like, leave my fucking sister alone or I'm going to call the police. Or I don't know what. My sister kind of like threatened him, you know, with the police. And when she did that, he freaking takes off. I never seen him after that. So I don't know, like, what that was about, you know? Like, I don't know if he was plotting something. Like, that's freaking scary. Damn, you never know. Like, how scary, you know? Ever have any experience something like that and you guys feel like someone's stalking you? Speak up, because damn, you never know. Like, I don't know what this guy was thinking. I don't know if he was planning something. Just be careful. Hi guys. Okay, so I just left Costco right now. Now I'm gonna go to Vallarta. Yesterday, I made barbacoa, ensalada, and I made beans. So I made a little bit, and my sister did recommend for me to get more pounds, because the meat, you know, it shrinks obviously. But me dieron con hueso when I had asked for the meat. Me lo dieron con hueso, and the last time I made barbacoa for the first time, they gave it to me without bone. So I assumed they were gonna do the same shit, but I didn't know that barbacoa came with bone, you know. But I guess you have to ask for it. So I really want my mom to try it and my sister. So I'm gonna probably, right now I'm on my way to Vallarta to get another 2 pounds. And then meanwhile, I want to work out. I can work out while I have the water like boiling or something with the carne, because I didn't get my workout in this morning. Last night I washed all the dishes, put everything away. I cleaned the counters a little bit. So I was good off that. Usually I wake up and I'll do the dishes when Luis goes to work. But no, I took a nap. I took a nap and I put my alarm early because I had somewhere to be in the morning. So did that, and now I'm on my way to Vallarta to get the carne. And then I'm gonna go ahead to go pick up my baby. Shit, I miss her already. What the hell? Like, yeah, I mean, I know, like, it's cool when you don't have your kids, you know, I guess. Like, not in a fucked up way, but like, you have your me time and, like, you know, like, catch up on stuff. So I don't know, I was still kind of doing the same old routine, you know, like just getting up, cleaning and cooking, pretty much. That's it. And getting my workout in. But I don't know, it's not the same without my daughter being home. It's not, like, she's not a hassle, you know. So like, when I would pass by her room, I'm like, it's all quiet. Usually I hear her like FaceTiming like my little cousin that's her age, and you know, like her friends or something. But no, I didn't. It's all quiet and shit. So I miss my baby. I know she don't miss me, because I called her and she's like, oh my god. I can hear in the background like, oh my god, like sighing, you know. I'm like, oh my god, dude, the helly. But yeah, so I'm excited to go pick her up. I'm happy. It's about that time already. It's been like a week. Literally. So, but yeah, guys, I'll pick you guys up once I get home. I was gonna say, when I was pregnant and everything, I already knew that I needed to. When I was pregnant, I was in high school, and I was going to San Joaquin High School, so like a community high school. And yes, I was a little behind and stuff, you know. Oh well, that's life, you know. It is what it is. But yeah, so I knew I needed to work like something as soon as possible, because I knew the plans I had for my daughter. Like, you know, once she got here, I wanted to just be prepared for things that I knew I was gonna need. And at the time, you know, me and my daughter's father, we weren't, like, there was days where we were on good terms. There was, you know, those days where we weren't on good terms. And, you know, both of us, we weren't working at the time, and we just, you know, kind of like did our thing, you know, like just, my Nina, shout out to my Nina Sally. She's always lent us her home my daughter growing up, to do parties and stuff. So I'm grateful. They would help me out with the food, like all my tias. So I love you guys for that. Thank you so much for helping me with all that stuff. Like, even though I know I never really said it much or anything, like, trust me guys, it was a big help from my family. Like, and then my sister, my brother, and my mom too, like, they would always help me out too, whenever I needed something. But yeah, like for the most part, guys, I also try to do my best as a young mom. Like I also in the beginning, yes, I didn't want to like. I didn't really want my mom, my sister, my brother to be like the ones that I'd be like, oh, here, you take care of my baby, you take care of my baby. Like for a while, I was kind of like that. Like I want to just take care of her by myself. I remember there was like a night where, you know, she was like in that newborn stage. So you know, the like babies, they go to sleep for like what, an hour or two, and then they wake up. So she was like in that stage, you know, and I remember I was so tired, like with me, you notice right away when I have like ojeras. So, oh my god, like my ojeras were freaking bad, like they were bad. And I remember my Nina one day she came because we used to babysit her kids. Well, my sister babysat her kids for a little bit. And I remember at that time when I was pregnant, well, when I had my daughter, my Nina, she kind of laughed and she was like, damn, you can hardly see like your ojeras. It's because damn guys, my ojeras were bad, like they were. So, you know, I was always sleepy, but fuck it, mom life. And so yeah, like I remember there was a night where I was so tired, and Paris, when she was newborn, she didn't want to go to sleep. And I remember I was like back and forth with her, like, you know, like trying to, what is it, like crating, or I don't know, like just like kind of moving her around and trying to put her to sleep. And I remember I just like, she was kind of like closing her eyes a bit, so I sat down and I just kept like, you know, tapping her to go to sleep. We both kind of like, she was falling asleep and I was falling asleep, and we both fell asleep on the sofa, and I was holding her. I know that's not safe, but my mom came in and she's like, you want me to hold her? I was like, no mom, it's fine. So, and I had like a little, I never really had like I didn't have a, how do you say it, those beds. Oh my god, I can't think of the freaking name. But I didn't have like a bed for her, but I had a little bassinet. So I didn't have like a whole bigger, what's that thing called? Oh my god, guys, I can't think, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So that, I didn't have that, but I did purchase like a little bassinet, a really cute one. And I passed it down, I forgot to who, but I passed it down, and it was a really cute one. I had bought it at Babies R Us when they had one here in town. They had so much cute stuff. I remember I freaking loved shopping there for Paris. I got like a lot of her like newborn toys there, her clothes, and then Carter's was like right there too, so it was cool. But anyway, so I had got her little bassinet. She used it maybe like, I'm not even kidding, maybe like a week or two out of her whole newborn stage. But I'd always have her sleep next to me, so it was just like already like a habit, you know. And I know it's scary, but trust me guys, like my mom instinct was like on top of it. Like I swear, any little movement I made, I would like wake up. My mom was activated. There you go. So I don't know, like I just like kind of knew, you know. And one thing is that my daughter would like touch my like head, or like I would touch her like her little hand or something, and that's how we would go to sleep. So she would need to feel something like she would need to feel me to go to sleep, and that's how me and her work. But anyway, so I was saying, you know, like when I waited till my daughter was a year old to start working, so I started working in the field and then going to school at the same time. So from the field, I started working in from the field. I did the uva for a while. I did the uva, and then I remember I didn't just do like one little spot. No, like I went to Arvin. I went to like in Lost Hills once. Where else? I think in Delano. Like the field. And then I think I did like a Yelera, like a packing, like a warehouse, a packing house. I did the grapes, and I did, so then from there I went to, what did I do from there? I remember I was in a Yelera packing house for a while too. Then I went to like a Yelera. I was there for not that long. I don't know, I just didn't like it there. So it was actually here in Sunview, like close to, it was like in between Delano and McFarland. I went there, I didn't really like it. So then I moved. I went to Delano to another warehouse. I did, I was sorting lemons. Yeah, lemons. And then, I remember from sorting, they told me to go to like I like moved, there was like this like machine running, and I had to like help move the boxes faster. So it was like a easy little kickback job, you know, wasn't too bad. And then from there, I helped stack a little bit. So it was like a little heavy, but it was me and another person just kind of giving it to another person. And then from there, I did something else by myself. I remember I was like, oh my God, I was just like back and forth, back and forth. I remember some guy that I worked with, he's like, damn, like, relax, like, you know, like, don't be in a hurry. And I'm like, well, look at the machine, it's like, it's going fast, you know? Because it was like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't even know what that machine was called, but it was huge. It looked big, like a big square. It was slanted because the fruit, well, the lemons, they would fall out. And it was like, not just one little thing, it was like a long thing. So like all the lemons would come out from this side, and that side. And I'd be like freaking running like this way, that way. So it was, you know, chaotic. And I remember him and some other guy, they brought me like this big ass fan. They brought me this big ass fan, you know, just like by myself, you know. So I was a little embarrassed, but it's because I'm not kidding you when I said it. You see me like in chinga doing all that, because I had to like make sure some fell down, like because so the machine would throw lemons, right? And then in the bottom, like you can let them run down, and some you had to like grab and make sure they didn't go down. So imagine. So I think the good ones you would let them roll down, and the bad ones you just like keep on this like little rail. So I would make sure like I would let the good ones go, and the bad ones I had to put them like on a rail. So just imagine that. You know how in Chingai was, kind of make sure everything was right. And I was alone. Usually in that thing, you would need at least 3 people or 2, and it was me alone. So yeah, it was like dumb. Like I don't know why I didn't get help, but I mean, you know, like I said, someone did bring me, like 2 guys brought me this big fan, and they were like, just go down, like don't worry, you know. But like if I didn't do my job right, and I knew that a lot of good ones were going down, I mean like bad ones were going down, it would give me anxiety. And I'm like, but I felt like I'm gonna get, I don't know, like I just didn't feel accomplished or whatever. So I don't know, I like trying to do my job the right way, you know. So I did that, and then I remember, what else did I do? I know I did something else. I think, oh yeah, from there I went to another packing house in Delano. It was a pretty big company. I did pistachio. So I remember I would sort pistachio, and then from pistachio, I think I did the pistachios. When I was in the pistachio, I met Luis, and we were both doing night shift, I remember. So we didn't know that, and we figured it out later on. But yeah, so I did night shift, and I was doing 12-hour shifts. And that's when I think I had already, like everyone in my school graduated high school, but I was behind, so I didn't get to graduate, you know. So you know, I guess there wasn't any more school for me, and that's when I had the choice to go to school and finish, or just keep working, you know. So at that time, when I was doing the 12-hour shifts, well, I decided to just keep working. But I'm not gonna lie, like I wish I was a little more knowledgeable with money, like saving and like all that, and I wasn't, you know, I wasn't really like that. But I wouldn't just like splurge, no. Like once in a while I would, you know, like I treat myself, and I would definitely like give my daughter what she wanted. I would take her shopping and stuff like that, you know. Also, like my brother and my sister, when they were working, they'd also like just show up with like things of milk, diapers, so they would also help out on that side, you know, like a lot. So like, you know, like they didn't hesitate, you know, like they would just do it. So that's another thing. Like my mom too, you know, she helped me babysit, and I would give her money, you know, for babysitting. So it was kind of like that. So my mom, shout out to my mom, to my sister, my brother for always helping me out too. I was working 12-hour shifts in the night, and I hated that shift. I remember I was always so tired. Like it felt so like ugly. Like I would leave, I think at 5 in the afternoon, and then be working all night, and then get out at 5 in the morning. So I remember that I was always working, and then at one point, my daughter, the thing why I hated it was because it felt like I would sleep throughout the day, see the sun for a little bit. I was literally there all night, so I would hardly see the sun. I hardly had time for like myself, and then like the times I would go home, my daughter, I felt like I barely like spent time with her. That was another thing that I hated. And I remember my daughter would grab me from my foot and she'd be like, no work, mommy, no work. And you know, like I hated that too, but I mean, I had no choice to work, you know? And then, yeah, so I remember one time my mom did like tell me, she goes, you need to spend time with your daughter. And she didn't say like I wasn't there for her. I wasn't there with her all the time, but my mom wanted me to spend extra time with her. So one day, you know, it did make me feel bad because yeah, she was right on that part. Like I just work all day, all night, and then, you know, like I'm asleep in the day. That's when my daughter wants me, you know. But I needed to get my hours of sleep, you know, so. But don't get me wrong, like on the weekends, I spend time with my daughter. It was just like during the weekdays, you know, work days, Monday through Friday. And then, actually, no, it was Monday through Saturday I'd work like that. So I hated it. So one day my mom, when she told me that, she's like, you need to spend more time with your daughter. So I felt guilty and I was like, you know what, okay. So I was like, when I get out at 5 in the morning, I'm like, we can go get breakfast and then we'll get ready. We'll take her to like to Chuck E. Cheese or something. Cause that was like our thing, to go to Chuck E. Cheese when she was little. And I just remember that I told my mom, okay, we'll get ready and we'll go straight over there. And I knew, I was like, I know if I spend time there, I'm gonna be late, or I need to be ready for work. So I changed as if I was going to work, which was like casual, so I can wear like jeans, a t-shirt or whatever, and then like my, you know, like running shoes. So I'd be like prepared, you know. So, and then I would take my hard hat, like in the car. I would take like my container if I needed food, or if I would take food, just in case, you know, in case I needed to hurry up. It was like a drive to McFarland to that company. So yeah, I just wanted to be prepared if anything, you know. I spent time with my daughter and everything. My mom left. It was already time for me to go to work. I did not sleep, and I remember I was falling asleep sorting. The thing is that day I was able to spend time with my daughter, so that was cool. But guys, I'm telling you, I was like falling asleep sorting. And I remember the person next to me and in front of me, they were like, go get a soda from the vending machine to like wake you up. And I was like, soda doesn't really wake me up like that. And I don't think they had energy drinks in the lobby, like in the vending machines. I don't think they had energy drinks. I think they just had like soda, waters, Gatorade, but they didn't have energy drinks. So did I just get a soda? That'll probably help. So yeah, I freaking said, I'm gonna go to the restroom, I'll be back. I went to go get a soda and chugged like half of it to see if I would wake up or something. I bought a soda and then it kind of helped, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, there was just a lot of times too where like I had to work weekends, like Saturday and Sunday. So you know, I kind of did that too. And then after that, I worked in the same company, but in the Yelera side. And the Yelera, you had to work 16 hours. And me and my older sister, so we both worked 16 hours in the Yelera for a whole week. So it was Monday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday, one of those. And I just couldn't, that one was a little tough to accomplish the day, like that one was tough. But me and my sister, and I give props to my sister because she was able to like handle the cold. And in that hielera, it wasn't just a regular hielera. Like there's some hieleras that are colder than other hieleras, you know? This one was like a freezer. Like it was really, really cold. I wear like those suits, those heavy, heavy suits to warm you up. Oh my God, what's the word? like they would wear layers of clothes, you know. So I would go with mascara and come out without mascara. But that's how the Llerera was. It was super cold. So I remember that's how we were too. Like it was like an all-day thing almost. We would get there early in the morning. I forgot what the schedule was, but I remember we would get there early in the morning and then come out when the sun was already, like when it was like sunsetting. So I hated that. That was like a 16-hour shift. I don't remember correctly if it was Monday through Sunday or Monday through Saturday. But I remember we did do weekends with those hours. That was pretty hard. That, guys, and then from there I went to Wasco. I went to a company in Wasco. Wasco is where they would tell me that I worked very good, to the point where they wanted me to become a supervisor. But I did a little bit of everything there. I did a little bit of QC work. I did a little bit of sorting. I did a little bit of, they wanted to teach me this like one machine and I couldn't, I said no, I turned it down because it looked complicated as fuck, like it did. But a friend of mine that I used to work with, she got on top of it, she did it. And she's like, you should have just done it, like it was pretty easy. And I was like, I know, and it was kind of my fault because I didn't give it a chance, but to me it did look complicated. But she was able to get it down, so that was cool. And then they offered me like a little mini office job, and I was like, damn, like I don't even know what is what. So my friend took that position instead. I mentioned it to her, so I told her maybe you should do it, and then she ended up doing it. Sorting, and I did inventory. And I remember one day I was like sorting. I did a few little things there. I had a little experience of everything, and it was kickback right there. And I remember one time we had to have this meeting with our bosses, like it was supposed to be like a 5-minute each for each girl, every sorter. And with me, it was a little longer and people were like tripping because it took longer. But no, it's because I had like a deep conversation with my boss, kind of like, he was saying, I see how hard you work. You're a hardworking person. He's like, you're a young mom, huh? And he's like, you have a daughter? And I was like, yes, I do. And he goes, what are your goals? And I was like, and I mentioned what my goals were. I was like, well, I'm like, I love working here, you know, like, he's like, I see that you're hardworking, that they would hear good things about me. And then he's all like, he's like, yeah. He goes, well, he did tell me himself that he doesn't see me working than that. And I told him, I was like, I know, like, I am planning on going back to school. That's when I was like still working and I didn't finish my high school diploma yet. And he's like, yeah, like, he goes, do it, like, you should go back to school, you know. And like, I don't know, he was just, I don't know what it was that like made him have that conversation with me. He gave me that motivation and pushed me to do better, you know. And I was like, you know what, you're right, like I should go back to school. I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Because I felt like I was stuck because I was making like, yeah, good money, but at the same time it was like I wouldn't spend time with my daughter. And like behind my head I was like, I don't feel comfortable because I don't have my diploma. Like I don't want to get too comfortable here where I'm not able to like pursue a career or get my diploma. And especially my diploma, like I always wanted to show my daughter that I can accomplish at least my diploma as a young mom, you know. So I remember he was telling me all these things, and he's like, yeah, like, you know, like you should go back to school, like pursue a career and this and that. And he was telling me about his family, that how one day he struggled and, you know, stuff like that. And he thinks like, he's like, I see how hard you work. I think you're meant to do something different. So he's like, we love having you here, but you know, you should think about it. Like you should try to go back to school, do it for your daughter. And I was like, yeah. So, you know, like it was a crazy like conversation that, but I believe that I had it for a reason. It was kind of like a little message. I don't know. Like, it was crazy. But after that, I remember, like I told you guys, I got out of the meeting because the meetings were in his office. So it was like, you know, everyone was going one by one. And I remember when I got stepped out, and like a few ladies, like the older ladies, they were looking at me and they were like, why did it take so long? I know it's because, you know, he was giving me like a lot of good advice about, you know, stuff. And they were like, I don't know what was going through their minds, but it pissed me off because they couldn't stop talking about how long the conversation was. And I wouldn't say it was like a long conversation, but it was like a So everyone had like a time of like 5 minutes or so. And with me, I would say like 10 minutes. So it was an extra like 5 minutes. But all he was saying was like that he sees me doing something better. And he was like, you have a daughter, he goes, maybe you should just go to school. Like, and I was like, okay, like thank you. What the hell? How weird. It just came off. It was like a little thing and it just like literally came off. But yeah, so he was like telling me all that stuff. And it seemed like they didn't believe me, but I was like, ah, whatever. From there, I just continued working. And then like, I would say like maybe a month, like into sorting. I seen one of the supervisors there just like look, cause so the way that one looked, it was like a sorting room. So just like the sorters, and then there was like 2 big windows, like 3 big windows actually, and the supervisor would like come and like check it out to see if we're sorting or doing our thing, you know, our job right. I remember one supervisor came like kind of close to where I was, and he was just keeping an eye on like my sorting machine. So it was me and a few other girls, and like there was a few like sorting tables, but he was like where I was. And then I seen another person come, and they were like just talking, and I was like nervous. I'm like, oh shit. Like, am I doing something wrong or what? Cause I seen them like looking where I was. I was like, fuck, am I in trouble or what? So I remember the 2 guys, well, one of the guys comes, and then he comes, talks to me, and like, you know, he didn't stop the sorting machine or nothing. He just kept it going. And I remember he got close to me, and he was just like, he's like, hey, can we have a second with you? And I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, meet us outside, or meet me outside. And I was like, okay, like outside of the sorting room. I remember, I don't know if I had to like remove gloves. I don't know what I needed to do. I forgot how that works. But yeah, I remember like I had to do that. So I had to take off something, and then I went to go meet him. But anyways, he's all like, okay. He goes, so I need you to go to the main office. He goes, they know you're coming. He's all like, they're gonna give you a notebook and a pen. And I was like, okay. So I thought it was very weird and like random. So I don't know, it was just like so random, but you know. So I go to the main office, and they're like, viene, and I was like, sí. They were speaking Spanish, and I was like, sí, soy viene. And then that's when they like gave me a notebook and a pen, exactly what he said. And then after he said to get the notebook and pen, he did say, come back and meet me over here. So I met him where he told me to meet him, and then it was 3 supervisors, and they were like, okay, like we're gonna like come with us. Or what did he say? I don't know if he said something on the spot. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think he did mention like, we want you to write some notes down for us or something like that. And I was like, okay. So he takes me to like, it's a pretty big company too, you know. It's like a big property, and like huge, like inside it looks big, like tall ceilings and stuff. And like he took me where all the forklifters are at. So like, it's like where all the machines, each machine, he's like, okay, write down what this machine is. And I'm like writing everything down. The name of it, I had to write it down. And then he would tell me like what the buttons were for, what that machine does, and how to turn it off and on, you know? So things like that. And then like I stopped, and I looked at them, and I was like, what's this all about? Why am I, you know what? I kind of stopped and looked at each other, and they were like, wow, we've been talking about you. We really like how you work. You know, you've helped us with this position, that position. And he's all like, we really love how you work. And he was saying that, he's like, we would like someone like you to be our next supervisor. So that caught me off guard, and I didn't expect that at all, you know? Like, I really didn't. They were like, yeah, we really like how you work. And then they liked me too, like how I was with other coworkers and like stuff like that. And like they just said a lot of good things about me, and that made me feel good. And I was like, oh shit. And I told them, like, yes guys, it sounded like really good and everything, but I was like, okay, so is my schedule gonna change like drastically, or what am I expecting out of this? What's my schedule gonna look like? And they're like, yeah, it is gonna change a little bit. They were like, so you're gonna work 12 hours Monday through Sunday, morning shift, and then the next week you're gonna work Monday through Sunday, night shift. And then the next week, Monday through Sunday, morning, then night, like that. So I'm like, oh, like in my head, I was like that's a lot for me to do. Like, de por sí, I was, like I said, guys, I was already thinking, like, I need to go back to school, I need to do this and that. And that was something that was, okay, so before they took me out and like told me, like, go get a pen and a notebook and all this stuff, right? And like told me the news, I was already like thinking, like, okay, like, I was already trying to see if I was already enrolling myself to go back to school, to finish my high school. And, so I was already like independent studies at the time, or enrolling myself in independent studies. So, you know, like, I felt so bad like turning that down, and I did, guys. I mean, I had to, like, I was like, that's not a life for me. Like, it sounds cool. Like, I remember, I don't know who I told this to, and they were like, I think I told my friend about it, and she's like, you should have took it, like, at least to get the experience, and that's it. But I didn't want to disappoint, knowing that I was gonna just leave, you know, like, and I'm not talking about leave the position, but like leave the job completely. Like, I wasn't gonna work there at all. My plan was to leave and go back to school, and just focus on school. I didn't want to do both. I knew it was gonna be a lot for me because I was a little behind, like I said, you know. And then I think I already knew all the work I needed to do because the credits, to me, it didn't seem like a lot, but once I started like doing it, it was a lot. Like, it just kept, I don't know what it was that, like, they're like, oh, they would tell me, like, oh, I forgot about these credits and then these credits, and I'm like, what? So like, I would finish a little bit and they would come up with like, oh, you still have this and this and this, and I'm like, what the hell? So it was just like adding up and adding up and adding up. And I remember that, and I was like so stressed out. But anyways, that was after, right? But I already knew, that's when I already had like a more or less information of how many credits I needed to get done. So that's what I'm saying, that's when I knew I had to like focus on one thing. I couldn't do both. So I was just happy that I was able to do a few, like maybe 3 years worth of experience in that job on school. I told them, like, I'm flattered, like, I'm grateful that you guys thought about me like this. I'm like, and it makes me feel like appreciated, you know, because you guys acknowledged my work. And I told them, like, I really love working here, and I'm grateful that you guys gave me the opportunity to work different positions, and, you know, especially like them coming forward and like, you know, breaking that news to me, you know. So I told them, like, thank you, but I can't take it because I have my little girl, and I told them I can't. That was gonna fuck up my schedule too, guys. Like, I wasn't gonna, like, I don't know, like, it was just a lot, you know, like a lot to do. So I give props to those guys that they work like that, you know, like that's their thing, and it does get like stressful, like, I don't know. That was that, and ever since then, that's when I finally went back to school, focused on school, and I got my diploma, and then I got like a little mini scholarship, and I'm grateful for that. I think the reason why they gave me that, guys, was because I remember I would talk to the counselor, and I'm telling you guys, they would tell me like, okay, you finished your credits, but now you need this, like, we didn't see this, and like, I'm like, oh my, I thought I was done, and they're like, no, I'm sorry, like, we barely seen this, and I was like, fuck. So I had to get that done. I had like a time limit. Graduation was around the corner, so I was stressed out, and they seen like I would work, and I was like that throughout the whole day. I would like take notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't want to mess that up and like not graduate because I fucked up or something, you know. So, oh my god. So yeah, I remember it being like that. Like 2 times they did that to me, where they were like, okay, you're done. And then they would call me, oh no, you need this. And I was like, fuck. So it happened to me like 2 times. And then when I finally got everything done, I'm like, that's it, right? I'm like, I don't have nothing, like, you guys are not missing anything? They're like, no. you're all done. You're gonna graduate. And I was like, ah. So that made me happy as fuck. Like I felt so accomplished. So, and that's just like my high school, you know? So I can only imagine like people that are doing college. Like props to you guys, you know? Like that must be tough too. And then like just time consuming and like everything. Money wise and everything. So shout out to you guys too, you know? Guys, I just wanted to talk to you guys about my little experience with work. Like I'm not lazy, guys. I'm not. Money-wise, I can say in the beginning I did splurge and I didn't like I wasn't smart with money. I had to do things, but you know, you live and you learn, and like I just wish I just knew about these financial things and then credit and all that. So that's something I feel like when you're like 16 and up or even younger, like I feel like you need to be educated and things like that. I know a lot of kids, that doesn't matter to them. You know, maybe they don't want to think about it. Like, we're young, we don't need to, you know, worry about it. But no, I feel like it's a good thing to know at a young age, because by the time you hit a certain age, you're over prepared. Like you're already set, or you're good. Like you're knowledgeable. You know what steps to take, what to do, you know? So I kind of had to figure that. Me and my siblings, we had to kind of figure that out as we grew older. We weren't educated like that, you know? And then my mom, you know, shout out to my mom too, because she was always, también, she was in the fields. And us, I remember my sister, my brother, and myself, we were like the type of kids that we weren't lazy. Like we would cut the grass, cut weeds. Like we would cook for when my mom came home from like work and stuff. Like we had food ready on the table. We would clean the house. We would deep clean. Like we would clean the blinds. We would clean like the fridge. Like deep clean. I'm talking, when I say deep clean, we would deep clean. And then like I would always organize everything too, because I'm like a good organizer. My mom too, you know, like she would teach us what she could too, you know. So, but yeah, it was just tough. It was a little tough, but now we know. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna finish washing my dishes. I'm almost done. I just have like 4 little things. But, and I know this is probably a long video, but I just wanted to tell you guys, you know, like, you can still accomplish things. And, you know, like, when someone sees potential in you, I would say take it as a message from, like, your angels or something. Because how is a random person gonna just say that about you? You know, like my boss, that told me all that, I would hardly see him. I would see my supervisors a lot, but I hardly see him, and I didn't know him like that. So I took it as like a message, you know? I mean, obviously it was like something that he wanted to tell me, but it was so random, because it was supposed to be a meeting about work, and he gave me like life advice. So I don't know, when someone comes up to you and randomly tells you like how proud they are about you, or like don't give up. I had one person tell me that one time too. I was working on something, I'm not gonna say what, but it took me a long time. Like I would stay, when Louis would go out and invite me over to like go have a drink or go with his friends, I'd stay home with Paris, or my mom had Paris, but I would stay home on the weekends trying to figure some stuff out. And I did it for a little bit, and that company, I got a hold of their number, and I remember like the new year began, and I had to delete everything that I worked hard for, because there was like a new like law or rule from that company or whatever. It's hard to explain, especially because I don't want to say much yet, but who knows if I'm ever gonna work on that ever again. It just got way too complicated, but I worked hard to figure things out by myself. You know, like I didn't have a teacher to like teach me. Like I educated myself, and I took notes after notes after notes, and it just didn't work out. And I remember one time I hit up their company thing, and I spoke with someone, and she told me people that have learned in the long run, it comes through. Like it's a good thing, you know, like you're gonna be doing good for yourself, you know. And especially you have a kid, she was like, you should just continue, like don't give up. And after that, like it made me feel like, okay, like I can't give up on this, you know. Like whenever you come across someone like that, when they tell you don't give up, or take them as little messages. like whatever they're implying, I would say listen to what they have to say, you know, because you might accomplish something just by hearing those words from someone. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna end it here. I just wanted to get you guys to know me in that sense. There's days where I want to just chill and like I'll rest. I'm not gonna say like I'm always, you know, busy, but I prefer to be busy than just being laying down. I'm gonna end it here. You guys can please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next video.
allá por Santa